Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the Creative Herd podcast, where we talk about all things not
Dr.
that
Evil Spin.
We just talked about it to each other, honestly, and
They're like probably 3 hours deep into a conversation.
yeah,
now.
We're just regurgitating at this point conversations that we have one-on-one, and we're like, shit, we should be recording this and letting everyone else in on this.
They're very personal, and we were talking about finances. And
So now we're going to make it a little less personal and more palatable for just the common person, you know?
common folk.
Appreciate y'all clicking in, as always.
Oh,
What's
man.
going on with you? What's popping? What's been new on the editor life, specifically? Nice one, Winston. Big burp.
I don't know, man. Not a whole lot going on. Just grinding out,
Mhm.
making videos weekly, trying to get into the short form game. You know,
Ooh, short form game.
Yeah.
Yes, you've been killing
big
that.
TikTok. Yeah, I revived. We have a Creative Herd TikTok. It is revived, and we're posting just random stuff, content that I've made, that Nolan's made, stuff from the podcast, and yeah, it's going super well. And then trying to convert that into YouTube, and then all of that on top of work. I've been actually picked up a few shooting gigs recently, which has been crazy.
Yeah, that's something you've been wanting to do this year.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it's just been weird to get back behind the camera in like a serious environment, to be like paid and not just be like, oh, I'm shooting a YouTube video.
Yeah. Any fun takeaways outside of getting paid for work like that? Any fun takeaways from being on set or doing these jobs? Did you get to play with any cool gear recently or anything?
Cool gear. Oh, I got to play with the new RF 7200.
Beastie.
Yeah, definitely a beast of a lens. I just like the adrenaline that set brings. Like, you definitely know it. Like, you just like, I don't know, you just feel weird in your body. And you're just like,
it's just
shit's
endorphins.
about to hit the fan.
It's endorphins out of the wazoo, and you're just hopped up. And then by the time that you get home, you're like, okay.
Yeah, there's such a big crash when you get home.
Yeah.
Like after 12 hours or something like that.
Huge crash.
And you're just like, oh my God, I've just been locked in the zone, trying to find composition and, you know, talking to people in a professional manner.
And that is the best and worst part about having a pet dog to come home to. Because yes, it's nice to come home to your dog and be met with love, but then you're like, fuck, I gotta go walk his ass after a 12-hour shoot day. Damn.
He's been like, I've been cooped up all day. And you're like, I'm exhausted. I want to go for a run.
Yeah. That's why we love our dogs. But that's cool, man. I'm happy that you're shooting again. And that's something that you've been wanting to do for a while outside of like just ACing or PAing and stuff. It's great to have you behind the lens again. So that's sick.
That's definitely something I have written down. We chatted about that, about like writing down your goals and things that you want to do. I've definitely been writing that just through like doc work and narrative work to try to get into that world. But yeah, what about you? What's been going on?
New for me, well, DaVinci Resolve has been new for me.
Hey.
And, I hate my life every time I open it, but I love it at the same time. It's so tricky. That's also where the Creative Herd and your YouTube Shorts are kind of thriving in that space, is unintentionally converting people to leave Premiere to go to DaVinci Resolve by showing the benefits of how smooth it is and how fast it is and how intuitive it is, because it is all those things. But the learning curve is horrendous.
Yeah, it's steep.
It's so steep. And it's exciting to be able to control colors the way that you would for photos. But if you're not good at that, it's hard. It's so hard. Like, yes, there are some points that are transferable from editing a photo, like your video. But
that's why I thought you would like it.
I do like it that way, but obviously shooting raw photo and editing raw photo is very different from non-raw video.
Yeah, totally.
So the limitations are there is a very strong ceiling before your footage looks either over-edited or the quality just depreciates.
Yeah.
And you can get super carried away with DaVinci. And now that we have Dehancer, when you put on Dehancer, bro, I've taken it way too far on some edits. And the worst part is that once I take it too far, I have zero clue how to dial it back.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, it's not, like an adjustment layer where I can be like, let's turn on the opacity on that.
Yeah, true.
It's like, you got to understand, that's why there's so many nodes and little things that you can control. At the end of the day, it's sick. And if you are wondering and wanting some tips on it, Spency Boy has jumped on the game of adding some tips and tricks on DaVinci, and also made a video about the learning curve and his biggest
Yeah.
like takeaways from transitioning from Premiere to DaVinci.
Yeah.
But that's been new for me, and it's fun. It's always exciting to learn something new, and I find that if you don't have the desire to learn anymore, that means that you've maxed out your overall interest and passion for what you're doing. So
Yeah.
I'm always trying to
I can
learn
agree
some
to
shit,
that.
you know?
Totally.
But outside of that, things have been, I was going to say really good, but like it's been slow. It's January. It's the January blues that all of us creators face. Like, for one, companies don't have their marketing budgets quite yet. So there's
Mhm.
not really much work there. And then we just came off the drunken stupor of holidays, so we feel hungover from all of that, so motivation's low. And then we're just very introspective and reflective over January, just trying to set, reflecting on the previous year and then setting new intentions on things you want to accomplish or feel or experience in
Word.
this new year. So
Yeah.
it's been slow, but I've honestly I've welcomed it for the first time ever, and it's been quite nice to just understand how I want to and build a guide to how I'm going to like fall in love with life in 2023.
I
23?
like that. I
Isn't
like
it?
that wording. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
man.
that? Ned's Declassified to. Do you remember that?
Ned's Declassified School Survival to
Yeah,
School
School
Guide.
Survivor's Guide.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yo.
That's what that reminded me of.
Coconut Head?
Oh man, you're making a guide to loving your own life.
Trying to, man. Really
Yeah,
trying
I
to.
love that.
And life is worth loving, man. Just got to find it or create it.
Yeah, this year feels oddly good for this early in the year.
I know.
I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, and I hope that people listening to this kind of feel the same like kick that we do.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just turning a new chapter, starting kind of fresh, and like having a really clear direction of steps you want to take, but maybe like at least for me, I like don't know where I'm going to end up, but at least I know the steps in front of me, and that's all I'm trying to focus on. It's just like present moment, things that make me happy, and walk that direction.
Hell yeah. Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we were talking about earlier too, off camera, was the concept of taking risks in our work, and for
Mhm.
not even just in work, but in self-gain, risks in your creativity, just taking kind of not necessarily a leap of faith, but taking a swing at things that you are not necessarily comfortable doing, and the growth that's going to come with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a year where a lot of us want to experience some exponential growth because we've laid down very strong foundations, whether through clients, through community, through our own passion and love for our own work, our interest in it, and like our skill set has been growing too. So this is a year where we're trying to really make some big noises and big waves for ourselves. It doesn't mean that we're wanting bigger jobs, but we just want a higher reward for our like self-fulfillment in our work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And definitely getting out of that like comfort zone of like just kind of what you said, but also mirroring the thing that I just said of like walking in the direction that feels good, but also knowing that like those things are going to take you out of your comfort zone to be like, yeah, sure, I want to walk on this little fine line that makes me feel warm and fuzzy and cozy, and it's like only the things that I want to do, but you have to take those like bigger steps in the same direction that are going to like make you afraid basically, but also knowing that it's just like it's going to be good for you in the long run, and understand that. Like just the little example of like even just me joining a gym, that's like such a clear example of just like, well, that's going to be a positive benefit in the long run, even though it's like sure a little nervous short term of like, okay, you've never been to a gym before, you never met these people before, or whatever. It's just like small examples like that of just like it's clearly a positive step, and you will be warm and cozy months from now. So like that's like the 2023 mindset of just making steps like that, I guess.
Absolutely. I think if there is a theme for what we're talking about, it is growth and putting yourself in positions that
Slow growth?
slow growth. Hey, we're not trying to monetize our boy Matt Devell.
Matt Devell comes out of nowhere.
Hey guys, minimalism. Just kidding. Love that guy. He never met me, but I love him. It's fine. Anyways, what I'm saying though is that it's for you to grow, and first of all, acknowledging and identifying where you want to grow in,
Right.
it's going to take a little bit of a risk. It's going to take a little bit of discomfort
Mhm.
to get there. So one for us is, to be full disclosure, it's about finances, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Massively.
And this is a question that every brand new freelancer asks themselves. This is something that even freelancers have been doing for years, is how are we going to make more money? How are we going to level up our services, level up our quality, without also driving ourselves insane and working like 20-hour workdays or like working 7 days a week
Yeah.
all the time?
Yeah.
You know, how can we...
Because time
How do we
is
do that?
money, and like, okay, make more money, just work longer.
And that is not the case at all, you know? So, and there's so many different ways that you can go about it and ways to wrap your head around it. But one that I really love bringing up in conversation, especially when I'm trying to explain to a client why I should be getting paid more than what they wanted to initially offer me, was that I tell them that you're paying for my efficacy, my efficiency, and my mastery. And it doesn't matter how much time I put into it. It's the
Yeah.
fact that I'm delivering you the best top product, you know?
Totally.
It's like the Nike swoosh logo thing. Like that, there's a theory behind it, or like a story behind it, that, you know, did you pay this guy an hourly rate to create this? And if you did, what happens if they came up with it in an hour? Is it
Right.
$40 a rate? No.
Right.
You're paying for a logo that's going to show significance and brand identity across several years. Hopefully, in the best case scenario, generations and generations of identity and success through this one logo.
Mhm.
So you're paying that person for the mastery of creating something that will stick, that will be significant for the brand. So, you know, explaining clients that way, that I want you to pay me for my knowledge, for my, you know, for my overall skill set and belief and investment into this project and passion for it, that's what you're paying me more money for.
Yeah, totally. It's such a hard concept for me to wrap my head around for some reason. Like, obviously we've spoken about it at length at this current time, but when you break it into something like what you just said, or like a chef at a restaurant, you don't really question that you're like paying more money. You're like, oh, I could go get a way cheaper steak elsewhere, but it's not like you don't question that. You're like, I want to eat here because it's good and it has a reputation.
It's a good, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not like they're taking longer in the kitchen, and maybe they are, but it's usually just different tricks and different ways that they're cooking things, and yeah, it's like it's such a weird thing that like we don't really wrap our heads around, at least from my experience in my own past. Like I don't really. It's like I just have to work more. You know, to get more money, I have to get more clients, do more gigs, spend more time in the field, shooting, editing, yada yada yada.
And it's, I actually, someone in my network said this on their Instagram story recently, and I want to get it right. They said, you're not paying me for, what is it? You're not paying me for the time I've spent in the industry. You're paying for me for how many reps I've done in this industry. So, you know,
True.
I say I could be doing this. Here's a real example. I've been taking photos, technically professionally, for whatever, since 2018.
Right.
But a new photographer who's only been practicing for like 3 years, say they've done 1,000 shoots in those 3 years. Obviously, their skill level is going to be exponentially growing, and they could be a better photographer than me, even though they've only been doing it for 2 years. They've just been putting in that work and the reps.
Yeah.
And that's also an excellent way on how you can make more money off clients, because you were just saying that we need to get more clients and spend more time working. That's like the most common understanding of how to make money.
Yeah.
You work more,
Basic
you get more return.
freelance. Yeah.
Basic freelance, right?
Yeah.
Basic any job. You say you have a part-time job or a full-time job, you're like, cool, I got to hit 40 hours because I'm getting
Yeah. Exactly.
whatever hourly.
Exactly.
Got to put in the work for
Maybe
it.
that's where the thinking comes from.
For sure. And for sure it is. Like that is something that we've practiced all of our entire life, all the way up until we became
Yeah.
adults with full-time jobs, you know, or full-time freelancers. But a very easy way to understand on how to make more money by doing not more work is doing more impactful work and doing less of it, though. So we've experienced this several times. We used to make a bunch of music videos when we were younger, and we would get our $600 budgets fucking disapproved, you know, and we end up just doing a bunch of lowballing videos and lowballing clients, and then hopefully we could scratch up enough money to pay off a rent, right?
Mm.
But an easy practice, maybe not easy because it's going to take a lot of belief in yourself and conviction and standing
And risk.
and risk, but it's raising your rate and seeing who's going to bite. And once they bite, once that person now agrees to that rate, that's your new rate. And you take on less clients that are now paying this higher rate of yours, and that basically just minus and X's out all those old clients that were paying that really low rate
Yeah.
that you'd have to do 10 jobs for, in equivalent to these 3 new jobs that are paying you the 3 times the amount.
But it's hard to consistently say no, because then
Mhm.
all of a sudden you're like, have all this time that you just were working, and I think that's definitely where I'm coming from. As it's like, it's scary to take that step because it involves a lot of risk, because now you're just like, well, what if nobody does say yes
Mm-hmm.
to this new? But it's just like, that's the trust and uncomfortability and faith that you have to put the reps in, and like know you've put the reps in to be like, okay, my work is quality and it's
Mhm.
worth this much.
For sure.
So if you're not confident in that, then don't charge that. But it's taken a long time to like get to a point where you can be confident in a day rate, or know your clients are going to come back to you, or
Mhm.
or that you can find clients in general. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But you won't know until you start trying and like believing, even if it's like an ounce of it in yourself. You just need to show a little bit of trust in yourself, and trust in not even just like I can say like trust your worth, but just trust that you know what you're doing and that you have a vision of what you want to become and how you want your life to be. One thing that I'm trying to practice more of, than we're both trying to practice more of, is being very specific about the things that we want to achieve.
mhm.
I feel like setting goals is one thing, but then setting specific like check boxes of things that we want to accomplish is far more impactful for us anyways, because once you become specific about a goal, your brain starts automatically creating like a map on how to get there. So if I'm just saying like, I want to make more money as a freelancer,
Yeah, it's not helpful.
it's not helpful, because I'm thinking, I get stuck in like, cool, I got to work more. Oh, I got to find more jobs. Oh, I
Yeah.
got to find more people that are going to pay me. But
Mhm.
if I make more effort to being like, I want 2 clients a month that pay for my rent, and I can save 50% of it as well
Mhm.
for my income. That sounds awesome, by the
Yeah.
way. That would be
Yeah.
that would be crazy.
And like what industries they're going to be in.
Yeah, exactly. You have to decide on those things too. Like, do you have any specific things that you want to achieve this year? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, like this is still very much all in the works for sure. Yeah, just because of like, I really do feel like my life is in like a pretty big shift right now,
Mhm.
and I'm not rushing it. And I feel like that is the best thing I can do for my creative process and just my overall well-being in general, is to just let those things kind of rise to the surface.
Right.
And then once they do, like, yeah, circle them in big letters to be like, this is the specific thing. But off the top of my head, no, I can't put myself on the spot and be like, whatever. I'm happy with how everything is going, but I'm definitely looking for more out of, my creative life and my life in general.
For sure.
So whether that means like the Creative Herd making new strides, my YouTube making new strides, but concrete things, like I want to come up with like concrete numbers, concrete videos to be like, I want to have made X amount of money passively on like, in this amount of time. Like those are the things that I kind of want to come up with, and like let my brain figure out backwards to be like, okay, well, it's this simple then. Just create 6 videos and this, whatever.
And I want it to be very clear to those watching and those listening that we're not just talking out of our asses, and we're not trying to tell people how to do things. We are experiencing these things in real time and are trying to share what we're going through, so people could also feel like they're not alone in experiencing the same kind of growing pains or growth that we're all wanting for ourselves and for each other and for the community. So it is a lot of reflection in real time when we talk about like discussions and
Yeah, I
topics
think
like
most
this.
of it, most of the podcast is real time stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We're also just trying to process it at the same time as we're speaking about it.
Yeah.
But
What about you? Like, what are you getting specific on? I think the only things that I've gotten on are like the themes of what I want. And we've chatted about that. But in terms of specifics, I feel like you have some pretty...
I definitely have some specific things written down. I don't know if I would, like, do I tell the internet?
Well, yeah.
Do I
it's
tell
personal.
the internet for how accountable I need to be?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of them, like, full disclosure, are ego based. You know,
True.
like, one is like, I want to be flown out for work, for photo work.
Right. Yeah.
Why not? That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I want to see my work, hopefully our work, on a billboard where we actually were the leaders in the creation of the project.
Yeah. This is round 2 of you being specific.
This is being specific.
This is
I
why-
worked on something that went to print and it was really cool, but I want to be the person now directing this, or, like, you know, pulling the trigger on the camera.
And that is the moment that you know you need to be specific.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Another thing that I've been pressed on recently is that, I don't know if you experience this too, but whenever I watch, like, a really cool commercial, or, like, an awesome short film, or whatever, it could be like a simple social video. There's moments where I will watch it and say back to myself, man, if I had that opportunity, I would kill that. I would be so sick at that, or I would have done that a little bit better and a little bit differently.
Yeah. We've chatted about that.
We've chatted about that several times, but my disposition around that is, it's actually evolving, and I wanted to share that with you, where I still feel that way, and I feel like it's very natural to, like, say that you would want to do those kind of gigs and wish that you had that. But as I'm learning while being more on sets now and doing higher stake gigs, the mastery in our practice and in our skill set isn't about getting those gigs. It's about, when you're in those gigs, doing the best job that you can under any kind of circumstances. It's not about, you know, people don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes and on the set life, and people are just trying to show up to their job and do the absolute best as possible. So a master of their work and a master of their craft isn't about being technically the best photographer, or technically being technically sound when you're executing your thing. It's about going into any situation with a level head and a level mind, with clarity and peace within yourself, so you can show up for it and give your full self into a project. And I've been trying to wrap my head around that too, because that is an area where I want to grow into. I keep on talking about wishing that I was working on these things, but I can only work on those things if I put myself in those positions and be ready at all times, but be at peace with myself and be at peace with my belief in my craft, you know, and belief that we can actually create really beautiful things. But that's an area where I need to grow in, and it takes a lot of discomfort and reflection on how I even see my work to do that. You know, like, even calling myself out on saying those things about commenting on other people's work, you know? I need to be very real with myself.
Yeah, like a lot of letting go. Also, there's also some risk in there too.
Tons of, yeah.
For sure.
You can't control all situations, you know? Risk is honestly the root of how we are always all going to evolve as creative people.
Yeah, I feel like it's more so, like, way more prevalent in just our industry and being a creative person in general, like if you're pursuing a passion. But even an example of, like, a short film story that you were telling me like a couple hours ago, just about, like, just letting go and adapting and you know.
Yeah, that's something I'm dealing with right now, and it's been a really cool experience. Long story short, just to move that along, I was asked a very long time ago to take a photo for a friend of mine's short film.
Is that how it initially started?
Yeah, exactly. So my friend had a short film that they were writing, and they asked me if I wanted to shoot the movie poster for it. And I was like, hell yeah, sounds fun. Made a small little team, and then the same friend was like, yo, maybe you should, like, DP this, because it's only gonna be like a small project. I'm like, yeah, sounds cool. Sounds great. So I started falling in love with the idea of DPing this beautiful film that my friend was making. And then I just kept on growing, and we started adding crew members, and we started getting funding, and then it started growing in front of my eyes to the point where there was internally a part of me that was like, shoot, can I even do something of this size? Definitely can. I definitely can. I'm going to step up to the plate, to do this. But then I was asked by the same friend who's also was going to direct it, and she's starring in it as well. She asked me to actually step away from being a DP, which up front almost hurt my feelings because
you're all invested in it.
I put so much ownership and like preparedness, readiness, mentally and emotionally to do this.
Totally, yeah.
But then she asked me to be the director of her film instead, which is one of the greatest honors anyone could ever give you. But it did take part of being fearful of. Now I'm experiencing imposter syndrome. Like, can I direct something this beautiful? Yeah. And then B, also my ego having to let go of not DPing this joint, because being behind the camera is where I'm the most comfortable and where I love creating strong imagery. But letting go of it and trusting someone else with this, and who can honestly probably bring my vision to life even better than I could have done by myself, takes a lot of trust and understanding, and it is a risk, like me letting go for sure of it. Yeah. But I do think that trusting in a team and trusting in my capabilities as a director will overall benefit the outcome of this film. So I'm really excited to jump into that.
What a weird opposing force when they're said next to each other, like letting go and risk in the same.
Interesting. That is an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah, like it really does reflect well of like just your situation, kind of just growth in general. We were speaking earlier about like just kind of my own personal trajectory of like my career and editing and that sort of thing. And yeah, if you're not willing to learn or push yourself, you just kind of fall flat. So there is a lot of risk in letting go in unison that you need to do. And that just kind of came up for me while you're saying that. That was weird.
And also it's for time too, like letting go of the amount of time that you've put into something, or times that you put into something currently, like say like editing, right? Like you edit probably 7 to 9 hours a day, right? Letting go of the identity of being an editor is one thing, and then now putting that time that you have into another thing it's scary, because editing is what you've known. But if you're trying to grow outside of just being the editor, it takes letting go of part of your identity. It takes letting go of pieces of your ego and investing that into somewhere else in a very not completely unfamiliar, but in a space that your comfort is no longer there. You don't have walls anymore to hold on to.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. It's definitely you create this nice little room that you live in, and you can do it so fast. Like how we were just talking about the short film. It's like, okay, you build yourself up and like build a room around you to the soft spot of like, okay, I'm the DP for this. I'm the DP for this. Cool, I got it. Thinking of ideas, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, do you want to go in this other bigger room? Do you actually want to be the landlord of this house?
But I like the room. I like the room. Room fine.
Yeah, but then you get like such a different environment because now you're like let somebody else, create your vision for you and take that risk, which is cool.
It's also fun taking these risks, though. I feel like it is though. Like, what is more exciting than new? What's more exciting than change at times?
Okay, well. I was a really stubborn kid, and I'm still the person that, like, when I'm at the party, so down when I'm there. But getting me there to be like, yo, you want to go to a party tonight? I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know everybody. Like, I don't know. I have to go alone. Fuck. But then once I'm there, it's, like, the best thing ever, right? So, like, yeah, like, new is, sure, it's exciting once you have experienced the new.
Right.
But getting there... for like maybe you're not like that, it sounds like, but for not everybody, like right off the bat, it's like, yeah, change is the best thing of all time. When I was switching to DaVinci, I had like my entire body was just like, well, do I just give up editing altogether? Do I just quit my job and work at a grocery store like I've always wanted to?
What the fuck?
But then, now months into learning DaVinci, and I was like, this is probably the best thing to stretch me as a creative, to be like, dude, it's about story. It's not about editing, It's
Yeah.
about everything else besides the technical. I get so caught up in technical personally.
Ooh, that's a really good point. Just because you're taking the risk away from something and jumping into something else, that does not remove the core of what you want to do, which is be creative and make something. And that goes with for anything. It doesn't have to be just even like freelance photo, video, whatever. It's like you don't lose your identity because you're losing or you're giving up a part of a small asset of yourself, you know? I think that's really important to remember why you're even doing this in the first place.
Yeah, totally. Even on set the other day, we were just having that classic conversation about like, because we were working with 12 different cameras, so we were having the classic conversation about like how fast tech moves, and then at the same time, like cameras mean nothing anymore. It's really about like you could be shooting on like at this point a 10-year-old camera maybe, and like making something great, and like against a new camera today that somebody's just making something because it's a new camera. And I was like, man, totally, that hits me so deep because I'm always so focused on the technical, like, oh, that camera shoots this, that camera shoots this, but it's like it's about the core of like what are you doing, what are you saying, like what's really going to be the outcome. It's not how you get there.
Facts, bro.
Yeah.
I honestly am not good at cameras, period. Like
Yeah.
even
That's the
though
perfect mindset, man. I'm jealous of that.
yeah, for sure. But at the same time, if someone's like, "Yo, oh, you're DPing, cool. Like, here's a Komodo," I'd be like, "Where's the record button?" Like,
Yeah, but it's
how
just
do I do this
like
thing?
you're focused on the framing and the composition of and like what those things are saying. You're not like worried about the shutter angle and like the depth of field and shit like that.
True.
You know, which is like somebody needs to worry about that, but like doesn't need to be you. You know?
Yeah, I want to wrap my head around how do we do a podcast where we're not just sitting in front of each other and we shoot into a reflection, you know, some dumb shit like that. It's yeah. Oh fuck. I mean, maybe that's something you let go of, bro. You let go of the tech. You just like
That dude, that's what we've been chatting about, like off cam. Just like stop worrying about the lenses and stop worrying about like the frame rates that your camera shoots at, and just like make something. You know,
don't be so precious. All the way back to episode 1 of Creative Herd. Stop being so precious with your work. Just make shit and release it and like let it out into the world because you're gonna feel so good once you get that off your chest. You know.
Dang, that's if you don't know that episode, you're not a real OG. So rewind all the way, scroll down to the bottom of this podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to episode number 1. Should we just wrap it there?
Oh god.
Go listen to episode number 1.
And you'll understand everything, man. You'll understand everything.
Maybe the first time we've ever talked into microphones.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm gonna drop you with an idiom from Mr. Dean Begley, my father, and which kind of started this entire conversation. He was always a big proponent in me taking risks and taking a leap of faith. And leap of faith is very extreme. That sounds very scary, so I don't like using that language for myself anymore. But he was always the kind of person that said, Nolan, you're going to do great in things that you love doing, but you got to just go for it and do the thing.
Yeah.
And so what he would always say is that you can't take a swing unless you step up to the batter's plate. And that has struck a chord with me for my entirety of my life, and now more than ever in my career.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you dream about making the home run. You dream about the ball going over the fence. But how can you even dream about that and want that for yourself if you don't even take action and put the bat in your hand and stare down the pitcher eye to eye or I don't play baseball. Do you even look at your eyes? But you can't do it unless you just go for it and you try something. And
totally.
Maybe you strike out and like it bruises your ego, but it doesn't mean you're done though.
Yeah.
It does not mean you're done.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, at least personally, like that's a really good thing to hear because sometimes it's easy to get caught up in other people wanting the best for you. And you kind of like, there's this like, I don't know if that's like some sort of movie-esque thing that you're like, you know what, my boss will take care of me, you know? Like they're going to be the people that are going to put me on the pedestal and like this project sails to the moon, or like a festival will take notice of this short film because it gets a Vimeo staff pick, you know?
That'd be cool though.
But that shit doesn't happen, man. Like you have to advocate for yourself. You have to put the submissions in. You have to do all the groundwork for yourself, because nobody's going to be, in very rare instances, those are the ones that we hear about and then think that we could be the 1 in a million that gets chosen.
But we didn't see all the grinding and hard work and self-advocacy it took to get there,
Yeah, like it's literally just as simple as like, if you want to submit a short film, then submit it. Don't just wait for a Vimeo staff pick and get hand plucked by MusicBed or some shit.
Man, maybe that's something that I want to practice. Maybe we should both practice self-advocacy, like telling ourselves that we're dope and telling the rest of the world that we're dope.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel that way about myself, so I would like to practice that more.
Yeah, I really think that that's a mentality. That's a mindset shift.
True. Yeah. No, I believe that.
Because we do work on some gigs that are really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what She Leaves You, the last music video we did? It has like 22,000 views on YouTube, and it got accepted into a film festival.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right? What?
That's cool.
What? We're film festival short film guys?
It's not that I don't like the things that I do or work on, or like, I really think that they're good. It's not even like I'm like, I do it, and I'm just like, they're not that good. I'm like, wow, that's great. Cool.
Cool, we did it. Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. But it's like this happy medium balance of like, not forcing it upon other people. And I'm just like, I'm happy for myself that I get to take part in this and to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough,
Hell yeah.
But then, the battle from your own mind to be like, one day you could work on something and it could be excellent, and the next thing you make, you're just like, well, meh. And then all of a sudden that's your mindset for the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're only as good as the last thing you produced is not a good mindset.
Damn.
I think. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Man, believe in yourself is what we're saying. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, but it's just like, you can always make something else. It doesn't have to just be like,
Mm-hmm.
you shit the bed on one thing. You're just like, well, I'm the worst filmmaker of all time now.
No, man. But when you do love something that you do, share it to the masses and keep fucking sharing it, and just like advocate for yourself and for your work. Share it all. Who cares? Tyler, the Creator, had a great interview recently where he was shaming people who just post one link to their Instagram story of a song that they released.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, bro, how you just put so much hours and time and love and energy into this project, and you're just going to share it once because you're shy or because you don't want to bother people? Yo, bother the shit out of them.
That's me. That's literally me.
Me too. Me too. I post once on Instagram, I'm like, here.
I don't even post anything.
I know, but that's the thing, right? Like, how are other people supposed to know what you do and show how proud of yourself you are by not, sharing and telling the world? Yes, we have this podcast, and
yeah.
But, we do dope shit, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it sucks, but it's okay. Overall, we're dope people.
Yeah,
we're good people. And that's the most important part, is that we're always good people at the end of the day. When the camera turns off, when the camera turns on, we're always just trying to be ourselves and practice being virtuous.
And I'm sure you're dope if you're listening to this.
Thank you. Thank you for listening, yo. Quick little turnaround segment as always. One tool, one thing, one platform, one app that is helping you with your day-to-day life and practice.
I'm beginning to hate this segment.
We're going to do it until we get a sponsorship. So I already have mine, so figure it out in the meantime.
Okay.
Mine is called Arena. It is Arena. They make magazines and zines and shit, but really what it is, think of it as like a Pinterest, but for the true like creative, the photographer, the filmmaker. It's basically where you can either source images or you add images into this platform that basically creates really nice mood boards for yourself.
Cool.
And you can link the photos to certain
This
blocks.
sounds like a free sponsor.
Yeah, man, it's great. I've been using it a lot, creating my own mood boards. And what I love too is that if someone adds the same photo that I did into their own page, I can go click into their page and see what they've added into their page that has that photo.
Weird. It's like a weird little social thing.
Exactly. So it's like super interconnected, and it's been seeing absorbing work and photos and videos outside of YouTube and outside of Instagram is something that I'm trying to do, and it's beautiful. Once you get to see a photo blown up across your entire computer screen, it's like, what? Why would I not do this all the time? And now I feel so inspired for things that I want to shoot and am shooting because of using this platform. So Arena. I think it's RARE period NA.
Oh,
That's it.
Cool.
It's cool, man. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
You got one?
I did not think about it. Anything while you're speaking.
You were just so taken back.
Yeah, I was listening. It sounds like a cool little thing. It's a cool little platform, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have anything that's been like really helping push anything really.
Word. Maybe that's okay. You don't need tools to be great. Just be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I bought those new Nikes.
Hey man, that's cool. Nike Metcons, weightlifting shoes. Really, stability makes a difference.
Dude, they're like the best shoes of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm like not a shoe person. I wear Vans, slip-ons like most of the time.
Blundstones.
And Converse and Blundstones. And that's like the extent of my shoe collection.
Mm-hmm.
So wearing Metcons is just like, yeah, next level.
Mm-hmm. Pretty fire shoe.
But yeah, that's like as far as a tool goes. I'm, and maybe that's like this new chapter to not have like all these high-tech tools and thing, because I'm definitely that dude to be like, well, I have this new keyboard, I have this new lens, I have this new, you know.
I think this is the moment in time where we retire this segment and think of a new one. I'm okay with that if you're okay with that.
Unless Arena wants to sponsor. Yeah.
Hit us up.
Yeah, I think that's just like, maybe we do that and only say genuine things when it's actually genuinely helping us out in the life. But I mean, if you guys want to keep hearing about it, you can hit us up.
Hit us up. You know where to contact us.
I'll send you the link to my Metcons.
Instagram, Creative Herd, YouTube, Creative Herd, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you know where we are.
Yeah.
Come say what up. Appreciate you spending time with us, and be a good person, be genuine.
And TikTok, you forgot TikTok.
TikTok too, yeah, TikTok.
Yeah, it's the only active spot right now. I'm like banning Instagram right now.
We're about to go on a tangent, so I'm cutting you off. We're gonna sign out right now. Peace, y'all.